From the 96 contenders who've taken part in this series, 6 finalists have emerged. Tonight, one of them is about to be crowned the nation's mastermind. Jessie Honey, an urban planner from London, answers questions on one of the world's great cathedrals. And our next contender, please. And your name?
Jessie Honey.
Your occupation?
Urban planner.
And in the earlier rounds, you answered questions on the London Borough of Wandsworth and Antonio Gaudi. Your subject tonight is?
Liverpool Anglican Cathedral. I was inspired to apply to Mastermind because I've always been interested in general knowledge and the world around me and facts in general, and I've always seemed to collect them from an early age, and this seems like the ultimate opportunity to put them to the test. The first thing that I did after winning the semi-final, knowing that I would have Liverpool Anglican Cathedral as my subject, was to jump on a train to Liverpool and whiz around the cathedral taking as many photographs as possible, just to try and pick up as much as I could that you might not necessarily find in books. I'm a town planner, so I've always been interested in buildings and architecture. This building was designed by Sir Giles Gilbert Scott, who was also responsible for the iconic red telephone box. What's really interesting about Liverpool Anglican Cathedral is that it's so new. It was only finished about 30 years ago, and so people haven't really had time to get used to it yet. But I'd be willing to bet that in a few hundred years' time it will be seen as one of the most important cathedrals in the country. This part of the cathedral was designed when the architect was only 22 years old as well, which is quite impressive. Well, I'm very, very pleased to have got to the final, and the way I'm trying to prepare for it is just to treat it like any other Mastermind game, which means it's nerve-wracking, but it shouldn't be hopefully too different to the other games that I've already won. I am a bit nervous about who I'll be facing in the final, because obviously to get to the final of Mastermind you've got to be a very, very good quiz player, and so it'll be very difficult to beat a lot of the people in the final. To win Mastermind this year for me would be just absolutely fantastic. It would be a great achievement and something I've always wanted to do.
Liverpool Anglican Cathedral in 2 minutes, starting now. Which now demolished church served temporarily as Liverpool's cathedral following the establishment of the diocese in 1880?
St Peter's.
Correct. What's the name of the cathedral's film and audio tour that reflects the building's enormous size?
It's a great space.
Yes, in 1903, which architect assessor, together with G.F. Bodley, chose the design of Giles Gilbert Scott for Liverpool's new Anglican Cathedral?
Norman Shaw.
Yes, what's the name of the burden bell which reportedly took 10 hours to haul by rope to its position in the bell chamber?
Great George.
Yes, in June 1910, which Archbishop of York attended the dedication of the Lady Chapel?
Cosmo Lang.
Correct. Which artist's message to visitors, lit up in pink neon letters, reads, "I felt you and then I knew you loved me"?
Tracy Emin.
Yes, what Latin title was given to F.W. Dwelly when he was charged with the creation of the Order of Service for the consecration in 1924?
Ceremoniarius.
Correct. Who was appointed as the consultant structural engineer to deal with the construction problems of the tower and belfry?
Bernard Green.
Yes, in April 1993, whose statue of the Welcoming Christ was unveiled above the west porch entrance?
Frink.
Yes, situated high in the Corona Gallery, which loud, majestic-sounding organ stop was installed in 1997?
Trompette Militaire.
Correct. What name's given to the enormous stained glass window which was finally installed in 1978, just in time for the service of dedication?
Benedicity.
Correct. Which former partner of Giles Gilbert Scott took over the architectural responsibility for the final phase of building in 1960?
Thomas.
Yes. What name is given to the southeast transept, which took a direct hit in the May Blitz of 1941?
Derby Transept.
Correct. Which First World War hero and son of the second Bishop of Liverpool is honoured with a bronze bust in the War Memorial Chapel?
Noel Travass.
Correct. What was the name of the cathedral organist who collaborated with Henry Willis III on the design of the cathedral's great organ?
Goss Custard.
Yes. Which part of the Old Testament is illustrated by the bronze figures supporting the altar rail?
The Ten Commandments.
Correct. Edward Carter Preston was the sculptor to the cathedral from 1931 to 55. What was his first commission during this time?
The Rankin Porch.
The Bishop Ryle Memorial. In April 61, the first bay of the nave was handed over to the Dean and Chapter, together with which feature named after a charitable trust?
Dulverton Bridge.
Correct. The tools of which stonemason who worked on the cathedral from 1932 to 81 were presented for display by his widow?
John Rowbottom.
Correct. Almost a clear run. You had no passes, 18 points. So that's the end of a very high-scoring specialist round. Let's have a look at those scores. In sixth place with 10 points, Barbara Thompson. Fifth place, 13 points, David Buckle. Joint third place, 16 apiece, Catherine Johnson and Les Morel. Second place, 17 points, Mark Grant. In the lead, 18 points, Jessie Honey. And so we reach the final lap of this long race, the general knowledge round. Jessie Honey, please. And you had the highest score in the first round with your knowledge of Liverpool Anglican Cathedral. The score to beat is still 32. Let's see if you can do it. Here we go. 2 minutes. What term from the Greek for false name describes the invented name a writer may use to conceal his or her identity?
Pseudonym.
Yes. Which country's flag, adopted in 1960, consists of 2 olive branches underneath a gold map of itself on a white background?
Cyprus.
Yes. Which organisation has won the Nobel Peace Prize on 3 occasions, 1917, 44 and 63?
The Red Cross.
Yes. What name is given to the imaginary line on the Earth's surface that was adopted as 0 degrees longitude in 1884?
Greenwich Meridian.
Yes. Which well-known author's interest in code-breaking and secret government agencies led him to write his first novel, Digital Fortress, in the 1990s?
Dan Brown.
Yes. The Marquess of Exeter introduced horse trials in which Elizabethan house near Stamford in Lincolnshire in 1961?
Burley.
Yes. What Italian term is used for pasta that's cooked until it's firm to the bite?
Al dente.
Yes. The former British protectorate of Bechuanaland became an independent republic under what name in September 1966?
Botswana.
Correct. Which learned class amongst the ancient Celts who acted as teachers, priests and judges have a name meaning knowing the oak tree?
Druid.
Yes. In October 1960, who told a largely hostile Labour Party conference, there are some of us who will fight and fight and fight again to save the party we love?
Gateskill.
Yes. Which English composer wrote 4 odes for St. Cecilia's Day between 1683 and 1692?
Purcell.
Yes. In the American Army, for what does the abbreviation PFC officially stand for?
Pass.
Having previously described her as his princess of parallelograms, which romantic poet married the heiress and mathematician Annabella Milbank in 1815?
Byron.
Yes, succeeded by John the 23rd, who was Pope throughout the Second World War?
Pius XII.
Correct. What name did the golf writer Herb Warren Wynne give to the 11th, 12th and 13th holes at Augusta because he thought prayer was needed to get round them without disaster?
Amen Corner.
Correct. Ipswich stands at the head of the estuary of which river?
The Deben.
No, the Orwell. In England, Ofsted is the office for standards for what?
Education.
Yes. Which heavy metal group took their name from the title of a Bob Dylan track, The Ballad of Frankie Lee, and who?
Judas Priest.
Correct. Originally meaning joint sovereignty. What word is used in North America for an apartment block in which each apartment is separately owned?
Condominium.
Correct. At which temperature are the Fahrenheit and Celsius scales equal?
Minus 40.
Correct. Which notorious gangster does Johnny Depp play in the film Public Enemies?
Dillinger.
Dillinger is correct. You had 1 pass. PFC in the American Army stands for Private First Class. It didn't matter a jot because, Jessie Honey, you have a total, a vast total, of 37 points. Well, you don't see a score like that very often. Let's have a look at all the scores in this final round. In 6th place with 19 points, Barbara Thompson. 5th place, 22 points, David Buckle. 4th place, 23 points, Les Morel. 3rd place with 30 points, Mark Grant. 2nd place with 32 points, Catherine Johnson. In 1st place with 37 points, Mastermind champion, Jessie Honey. And now, to present the trophy, somebody who knows all about sitting in that intimidating black chair, last year's Mastermind champion, Nancy Dickman. And there you go. The obvious question, how on earth can you remember all that stuff? That was an amazing score.
Thanks very much. I don't know, but I do know that I definitely wouldn't be here without the support of my wonderful wife, Helen, who's in the audience.
That's
so I'd like
nice.
to say thank you to her.
What,
as well.
does she put you through your paces?
She
and
does
things like that?
constantly test me during the washing up, everything. So she's really suffered.
Well, now you've won it, you shouldn't wash it. I mean, a Mastermind champion shouldn't have to wash dishes. I mean,
Well, I don't know.
beneath you from now on. Come on,
I do.
You do. Well, congratulations. We may see you back here one day, but for the moment, Jessie, congratulations. And that's it from this series of Mastermind. Good night.